working at Taco Bell. I said, believe it or not, we had a lot of friends that came and went. Grant came and went. God bless his soul. R.I.P. Brendan. I don't know if you remember Brendan McCarthy. When I got into call the 1-800 number line and said like he missed a mix him out or something. Next thing you know, he got the job and busted it.
Brendan worked there.
Yeah, in a short period of time.
Short time. We called him short time.
Short time.
Brendan's probably
he called in and went to, he called in and went to the beach one day, and I went to his house and tried to call him out on it. And his mom was like, "Who are you?"
Well,
that was funny.
When I started, you were the head man there.
Yeah,
Danny was the best, and he let everybody know he's the best.
I've always been like that.
Yeah. And there was Mike Williams. Was the other guy, and Mike was always trying to compete, and used to always tell him, "Mike, I'm better than you."
Oh yeah,
I'm not bragging or nothing. I'm just better than you.
Yeah, that's just the truth. It's not a competition, but if we were, I'd be winning.
Hey, so me and you hadn't seen each other in 20 years.
20 years.
We've been talking here and there, text message, and a few times on the phone, but it's just like we never even. I mean, granted, there's been 20 years, but it's kind of cool to have friends where you can reach back and touch with them, and it's just like you haven't missed a beat.
No, I tell you what, I totally agree. No, I mean, it's funny. We didn't really have any classes together. You were in a little bit more advanced classes.
You were working most of the time. You lived on your own at age 16, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been living on my own since I was 16. I say all the time that I'd had better parents. They're both gone.
Yeah.
If I'd have had better parents, I think I'd have been more successful. I went to basic training for the National Guard between my junior and senior year of high school.
I remember that.
Became manager of Taco Bell at 18.
I remember that.
I was a gun ho, but never.
No, but I think here's the thing: is what if you. Not God rest your parents' soul, but what if you did have quote better parents and they had you on the right course and you were going to go to college? You may be a college guy working in some corporate backwoods place. You could be doing some stupid job right now. Here you are now. Instead, you were your boss of your own crew. You're successful. So I think there's a lot of times people just have to find their way. And certainly not everyone is supposed to go to college. I mean, college is one of the most overrated things. And those out there who are listening that went to college and feel differently, feel free to pipe in on Facebook Live. But I think college, for a lot of things, is completely unnecessary and a lot of times a very expensive waste of time.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of people will agree with you. You grew up in a type of household where you're preached to go to college. And then next thing you know, you grew up in a household where you just never heard anything about college. Your parents didn't go to college. They didn't even graduate high school, and then so their friends are just their type of people, however you want to put it. So, you don't grow up in a household talk about going to college. So next thing you know you don't want to be anything like them.
Right. But you're not sure why. Here's the thing, though, is back to what we were saying before is, you had like the eye of the tiger. And you and I both did, I think. Even when we were making, $4.25 an hour, $4.50 an hour, working all those long, we worked, 30 hours a week in school.
Yeah. I worked 40 once I turned 18.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as you could legally work while you were in school. Yeah. And then here we are. We're both successful. So
I tell you what, I remember, what's his name? Terrence? What was
Terrence Palmore.
Terry.
Palmore. He's listening.
Okay, well, if he's listening now, Terry, I was like, come on, Terry, pick it up. Like, hurry up. He's like, for $4.25, this is all you're getting. I said, with an attitude like that, you're not going to go anywhere. Terry said, no matter what you're going to do the best you can.
He's in law school.
Is he?
I remember back in the day, he said that, when he's like, he goes,
one of the days he's going to kick my ass.
No, he said, Tommy, one day, and I think he said 20 years from now, we're going to be at the beach and we're going to be looking back on this. It's kind of funny because, you think about that 20 years ago, it does seem like you might as well say 50, but here it is 20 years later.
And I tell you what, I don't know, with some times it feels like it's flown, seeing you seems like it's flown by. But 20 years, just seeing the different stages, no doubt.
Tell me about, so what kind of work you doing? You've been doing the same work, but you're an electrician by trade, but your specialty is...
It's conveyors. Basically, it's like this. Every major company has to have a distribution center. Every major distribution center has to have a conveyor belt system inside. Move the product in and out, So that's what I do. I install conveyor systems on the electrical side of it, start to finish, or retrofits or upgrades.
And right now you're in Brooksville for a month.
2 months, doing a Walmart distribution center. They've added some lines to it, some outbound, some inbound lines, and you know, just in the conveyor business, you know, stay busy.
What else have you been doing? You said you traveled. You had an opportunity, I remember at one point, to go to the Middle East, but you turned that down.
I turned that down because, well, just saying it out loud, you don't want to go to the Middle East. You don't know what's going on. You may not come back.
That's right.
But since then, I've done jobs in Mexico, Canada. Actually, my buddy Adam, if he's listening, he came up in Canada and saw me a few years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And lately, I went to Brazil. I did a 6-month job over in Brazil. That was nice. That was fun. Out of all the places you'll ever go to, you've got to go to those kind of places to remind yourself how lucky you are. I had a subcontractor working for me, and literally there was 20 guys sharing one house.
Wow.
Yeah, one house. They all had single beds all throughout the house. They had 2 toilets, 1 shower, and I tell you what, they were happy. They were happy to have that. So
what is the major thing, though, that you'd say? You said people should go out of country. What is the most, I guess, the quickest thing that comes to mind when you go to these other countries to say, you know, I am so blessed to live in the United States?
Well, just everything tastes the same over there. There's not a variety. Go to our Walmart. You can choose, 100 different cereals? You got 2 over there. Captain Crunch and Golden and cornflakes.
Yeah.
After a while, okay, and the thing is over here, everything you have your all-you-can-eat buffets, right?
Right.
And usually it's just, you know, all you can eat. You pay a set price. Well, over there, you pay by the pound. That's the, you know, and pretty much 75 to 80% of the restaurants over there are buffets. You know, you kind of have to have money to sit down and order a meal. And they have, they do have Applebee's and Outbacks over there. That's the only thing that you'll see familiar. The meat does taste different because honestly, they kill the cows there, so it's different. But,
Oh, so it tastes more fresh, I guess, maybe.
It just tastes different, man. Yeah. You got to realize what we do to animals before we kill them to get to get it tasting right. And over there, it's, you know, the chickens are pretty small when they come out. You know? I mean,
well, I have chickens myself, and I know a standard chicken that you have in the store doesn't look like anything like my chickens.
Yeah.
I could have a chicken that stands this tall, but he doesn't have half the meat that the store-bought chickens do, just because they're a different breed.
Yeah, because of the way the steroids and everything, the way they raise them.
So tell me about what you're doing now. You have 2 children, 16 and 14, you said?
16 and 14. Walker, 16. Walker Daniel Jones, May 25th, 2000. Peyton's 14 to be 15.
What do they like to do?
Walker's your typical teenager. He just started driving. You know, I don't want to say he's just like me, but kind of look at him sometimes. Or, you know, his friends say we look a lot alike, act a lot alike, stuff like that. He's not a real sports fan or nothing. He's just now really getting to watch college football and stuff. We talked a bit about Tennessee, you know, mainly Tennessee, Florida, just different stuff like that. Or, you know, and then Peyton's a video gamer, big time gamer. Really? Yeah,
he's a younger
big soccer player. So
Peyton's a younger one.
Yeah.
Is he named after Peyton Manning?
Yes, he was actually.
Yeah?
Yes, he was. Cool. Yes, he was.
Yeah. I remember when I was in school, Peyton Manning was, well, he was the same age as me, or a little bit older. Now he's retired. It makes me feel like I'm getting older.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, what was he? They drafted in '98, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, in '98, and then
So a couple years after we graduated, you know, here he comes. And no, I actually base a lot of my time frame on that. Like, okay, I remember when Peyton. Now he's great. You know, he's retired, and you know.
Speaking of driving, your son, does he have a car?
Yeah.
Is it better than your Camaro?
Yes, it was.
Is it?
You know, it's
your Camaro was a good car.
Whatever, man.
It ran pretty good.
Nah, well, look, I loved it at the time.
Yeah.
I paid for every penny of them.
That was a good car. I thought it was, you know, I had a Ford Ranger, so it was a lot sportier than my car.
You know, that was the car, though. That was my car. That was my high school car, you know.
I remember you used to always keep the keys in. I think you left the keys in it.
You know, I used to do funny stuff like that. I can't remember. It's funny what you don't remember.
I remember getting the car and you had the keys in there and you're like, just leaving them in there. He's like, nobody's going to steal it. I'm like, well, why wouldn't they? Nobody's going to steal it. I'm like, Danny, this is a kind of that's when you had that apartment.
I would never do that now.
Yeah.
So, and I would definitely tell my kids not to do that. Yeah. So, why I did that back in the day, I don't know. I remember how it always had a lot of little tricks, and the windshield wipers would always stay on, so I'd have to take the fuse in and out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, little tricks like that that you know I don't think of until you remind me.
Yeah, so when we were kids, you know, kids didn't, you know, you and I worked a lot, but most kids, I guess, didn't work a lot.
Not like us.
But I think it does help. I think it helps to instill a certain amount of, makes you understand where you don't want to be. That's for sure, like you were saying before. And you may know that already, but certainly I knew that I didn't want to be in that type of lifestyle any longer than I absolutely had to. And I think it instills too. It helps you understand where money comes from. Well,
it does. I remember making $220 every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
for 30 hours a week.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a car payment, insurance, and my, believe it or not, membership to the gym back in the day.
Yeah.
That
What gym was that?
It was Lifestyles.
Lifestyles,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I loved working out. And, the thing is like, of course I wanted a job because I wanted to buy stuff. But
no, I couldn't wait.
Because otherwise I just didn't get anything.
Well, I remember kids used to, or not kids, other people would say, I think it was other parents maybe, about, well, Tommy, you shouldn't work so much.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't be working all that time. Like,
give me some money and I want to.
You think I'm doing this?
buy me some clothes.
You
and
think I picked Taco Bell to go work at for 30?
I'll tell you what, the funny thing about that is I was telling somebody the other day about how, because actually I went back with my buddy Josh White, which was a class of 2004. I got him a job and everything. And we went to Fat Jack's, local. Nice. And I was like, I told him a story. I was like, actually I worked there for 5 minutes one time.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, yeah, my buddy Adam Hickson, he got a job here and I was jealous that he had a job. So I talked him into talking to his bosses to get me a job there when I was 15, because you could work there a couple days a week when you were 15.
I remember that.
And next thing you know, I went back there and they was going to have me bust dishes. And with the cigarette butts and the mustard, man, I was like, I can't do it. I quit.
I worked at a Chinese restaurant before I worked at Taco Bell for a little bit longer, like 3 days.
Yeah.
And so that didn't last long, though, because they basically didn't understand anything about labor laws, and the lady who ran the place actually used to steal your tips.
Yeah, well, no.
So that's not cool.
No. I tell people this all the time. I've never had a job more than 2 weeks I didn't like. I mean, I've been in the conveyor business, and I've mainly worked for just a few companies for a long time, but in between those jobs, I've worked for other little companies. I actually came off the road for a little bit and did some electrical work in Phoenix, where my brother lives. I own a couple houses there. And if I don't like it, I quit. Like I said, Taco Bell wasn't all that, but the best thing about Taco Bell you
could flex your schedule.
You
get a lot of hours, too.
Well, the people that we worked with.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Remember Mike DeRucki?
Julie
Woodruff?
Julie's cool. But Julie, blonde Julie and Joey, and...
I don't remember them.
Come on. They went to Kathleen when we were sophomores. They were seniors. They ended up going to Florida State.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Dave.
I remember
Dave. Green Mustang Dave.
Dave, what was his last name?
But they were funny.
Yeah,
we had
Dave
fun.
was hilarious.
We had fun. And then you had other people come and go.
Mike DeRucki was my favorite.
Mike DeRucki. Oh, no.
Remember him?
No, you don't mean that. You don't mean
you
that.
know Mike DeRucki?
Yeah, I remember Mike DeRucky.
His name wasn't Mike DeRucky, but that's the name of the guy from Jerky Boys. I don't know what his name was, but we called him Mike DeRucky.
Yeah.
Remember the guy that we had an assistant manager?
Don.
Well, Don.
Sir, that's not policy.
Sir, that's not policy.
Sir, that's not policy.
Sir, is it policy for you to clock out now? Sir, why don't you go ahead and clock out, then take the garbage out, sir?
No,
it's not policy for you to get over.
We had a lot of fun making fun of him.
But there was another manager we had. Poor guy was like totally flustered. And
I know who you're talking about.
You and I were shift leaders, and we made up the story about Leonard. And Leonard had showed up, but we sent him to go take out the garbage, and he never came back. Throughout the shift, the guy was like asking, "Have you seen Leonard yet?" And we're like, "Hey, he ain't come back yet." And then at the end of the night, he wrote the manager a letter to let her know. It was like his first shift. He's like, "Everything went well. Danny and Tommy were very helpful. Leonard, unfortunately, clocked in, but he took out the garbage, and he never came." It was completely fictitious character.
Tommy, I believe you.
He probably got fired.
I don't remember that at all.
He probably got fired.
A lot of stuff I don't remember. Some things I do. I don't remember that at all.
We probably got that guy fired. He could have been probably CEO of PepsiCo by now.
No, the bottom line is that working with this guy right here, Tommy, if you can remember, man, we had a blast. We had a blast on the front line. And like I said, too, like I tell people this all the time, like, you want to pick the one spot. You remember Saved by the Bell, where they all went to the Max, or whatever. And I was like, I would not want to work at the Max, where like everybody from high school goes.
Right.
And where do we go work?
Yes.
At the Taco Bell, right next to the movie theater, where everybody comes in.
You know what's crazy too is like people would say, "Hey, you're always here when I come here." I'm like, because I'm always here.
Yeah.
It's not just you; it's you and everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm always here no matter what.
Yeah.
I got that feeling though when I was a resident. When you're a resident, there's 8 residents. So your first year of residency, you're an intern. And the interns split hospital duty. So at any time, you can know that at Morton Plant Hospital, where I trained, one of us 8 was in that hospital. That's kind of crazy if you think about it.
Around the clock, 24/7?
Yeah. So if you think about that, it's like Taco Bell. It's like you and I, even though we're in school, like the waking hours of that business being open, we were there some of that time. And when we we're probably at school. And if we weren't there, we're probably sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, well, I'll tell you what, going to basic training like I did, which I don't necessarily, say everybody should do. But I tell you what, no matter what I go through in life, you know, going through 9 weeks of basic training between June 1st and July 31st, 1995, between my junior and senior year of high school, anything that I went through after that, it was just like there's a finish line. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. 4 hours of sleep, 6 days a week.
You probably think this savage race thing I did was silly. It was tough, but it's probably, like I was telling Tracy, I was like, I bet you this is what those guys do. They probably come out here and laugh. Because we were crawling under barbed wire, but it was like 2 feet high.
Well, back then, I mean, I would have run through it. I think I came like in 6th in the obstacle course. And I mean, just in the best shape of my life, you know. And
didn't you say, I remember you said before there was a guy that came in there, he's like overweight. And
no. Well,
his family came, they couldn't even recognize him.
They cried. They started crying. He lost 60 pounds. I mean, the drill sergeants would take his hand and make sure he finished running the you know, he lost 60 pounds in 9 weeks.
Teamwork. I found that just during the short savage race, because we did it with some of our patients and friends. It's like you're a team. It's a cohesion thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of people that fail during basic training, and they'll have to go back to the next class, like 2 or 3 people from each platoon. The 30 people that we started with, all 30 of us succeeded together, and we didn't really know it at the time. They really don't tell us that stuff. They don't tell you anything. And then after we finished, you know, they're like, you know, you got to be proud of yourselves. You know, you 30 started and finished like that hardly never happens.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But we didn't know no better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you had to look out for your buddy, so to speak.
That's cool.
You know, so the world would be a better place if everybody did it. No matter if everybody went through basic training. Yeah, I think over in the other countries, maybe they have to.
Oh, yeah, it's mandatory in Israel to do 2 years, man or woman, of training in the IDF.
It would help.
Israeli Defense Force, but there's probably other countries that do a similar thing.
Yeah.
How was the reunion? Now, you got to go to reunion. I didn't go. LHS.
I thought it was good. I thought it was real good, you know.
You said there's 50 people. That's a pretty good chunk of our class.
I think there was about 50 there, you know.
And then it was a combined group with George Jenkins.
About 50 apiece, about 100 total, you know.
Yeah. So as far as...
It was good seeing old people. You know,
what do you think about, you know, the time period that's gone by? Was there a lot of people that you didn't recognize?
No,
you said some people didn't recognize you.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I look different. You know, what do you think?
You do. I mean, I probably look different too.
No, you're the same.
I do.
I know pretty much.
Well, you used to be a little guy. I mean, not that you're a big, huge guy now, but you used to be a wiry little guy.
Yeah, like, I know. But no, I pretty much recognized a lot of people. I've spotted a few people out right away. A few people, you know, you recognize them, but you can't remember their name. You know, stuff like that. But, you know,
I tell you, man, it's been 10 years since our med school. That's 2006, and then 20 years since that. And the time does go by quick. And it's something that you need, that you take for granted too. It's like, particularly you're talking about you've never been in a job more than 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, one of the things.
I'm not going to luckily, I've never put myself in a position where I had to. You know, it's just like I wake up and I don't want to come to work, whether it be my boss or whatever it is. It's like I'm not going, you know.
What would you give advice out there? So there's kids out there, similar situation as you. Not necessarily the greatest household environment. Maybe they don't have all the advantages that some of the other kids do. And so as far as from, you know, how do you get to where you're at, where you're living on your own at age 16, you're paying all your bills? How do you become where you're at now, where you're successful and, you know, supporting yourself, supporting your family, have a good career? I mean, what are the ways? I mean, obviously you be dedicated, but there's probably some things that you shouldn't do along the way. Don't be stupid. Don't get into, you know, drugs and things like that.
You know, I don't know advice you can give, or like, you know, you don't plan it. You don't know what you don't know. When you're growing up, you just know your situation. Right. You don't know really what everybody else's is. I mean, first of all, you think yours is a lot worse than other people's. Maybe it's not, you know. But at the same time, it's like you don't know what you don't know, so you grow up just knowing you don't want to be like that. You know, I don't want to be like them. So you can grow up and say, I want to be like my mom and dad, or you can say, I'm definitely not going to be like them. Right. So the next thing you know is just you get a worth ethic, and then you just realize, okay, if I'm not going to go to college, I better be able to work. And like I said, going to basic training like I did, that helped.
Yeah, I think if people, particularly, they don't have a plan. I think military, at least.
Well, see, that's the thing was, I don't know
if it still is a good idea.
My plan was always to go to the Army, graduate high school and go to the Army. And then what's funny about it is when I worked at Taco Bell, that recruiter that would always come in, he didn't recognize me with the way I was dressed at work. Then one day he saw me at school when he was walking around. He's like, "Hey, you work at Taco Bell, don't you?" It's like, yeah. He's like, you know, you ever thought of, you did this whole spill and everything on me? And he's like, well, you know, you can't downgrade to the National Guard, or you can't upgrade to the Army, or I forget how the spill goes, but he's like, I was like, sign me up, you know, just not knowing any better. And The next thing you know, you get dropped off there.
And that's for real.
It's for real. And there's no going back.
Yeah.
You can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I laugh about it now, but.
So what's your plans? After you finish with this job, your job's over, you already know where you're going to be at next?
No, actually, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. Go out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take the rest of the year off. Go out to Phoenix, hang out with my brother out there.
So you'll be off for Christmas? Yeah,
I'll be off. I finished this job on November 19th. I'm just going to go ahead and take the rest of the year off. And then I think I got to be in Montgomery, Alabama to do a Big Lots down there on January 5th. Mm-hmm. So I'll take about 6-7 weeks off. My brother just bought a house down in Mexico, so I'm going to go down there. And he's got some ATVs and stuff.
He lives in Mexico?
And he lives right there in Phoenix. So, no, he's funny. He's a real estate agent in Phoenix, and he just bought a house in Mexico. He's been, begging or trying to get me to come out there, but I'm busy. I actually have to work a lot. He's enjoying the fruits of his labor. And so now he just bought a house out in Phoenix, or a house in Mexico, and can't wait to get out there. Now that he's got a couple ATVs, a couple of friends that have houses down there too. So hopefully bring the boys down there and, check out Mexico.
Children?
No. He says, no, yeah, he never got married. He never had kids.
Yeah.
My kids are his kids. We also have a nephew, Tate, so that's like his kid too. So, no, and I told him as mine, you don't need no kids.
Have you seen Adam play live?
Yes. No, actually, no.
Adam Hickson?
I want to say one time, like when we just got out of high school, I think I saw
Divine
him.
Science, right?
Adam, I should know. I don't.
It's Divine Science.
Isn't okay. Well, I told him I was going to come see him this Saturday. Okay. So he's playing somewhere on Saturday. I'll text him.
He played the Brass Monk, which is down here, right down the street from my house. A lot of times.
Yeah.
I've seen an ad for it there, and I think I think their singer just recently had a health scare, but I think he's back in business. I saw that on their Facebook page, so hopefully that's true.
Well, they're playing on Saturday, so somewhere. I wish I should know where, but I don't.
So if you're interested in learning more about Adam's band, go to Divine Science on Facebook. And Danny's here with me, and we're going to go check out now, and we're going to go get started on our Halloween party that we have here at Echelon-Health. It's the Ask Dr. Tommy Halloween party. You're welcome to come out. It is going to have some deviled eggs and all the usual fixings that we have here. And I just wanted to let everybody who's not seen Danny like myself in 20 years, at least if they're not seeing it live, we're going to share this on my regular Facebook page so they'll get to see Danny and see what he's been up to, and we're going to have some fun. Danny, thank you for coming in, man.
No problem, Tommy.
And for all of you out there listening, if you'd like to hear more of the Ask Dr. Tommy show, that's the podcast. Go to AskDrTommy.com, which is on iTunes, or go to AskDrTommy.com and subscribe on iTunes. And then if you'd like to also see the Dr. Tommy show, subscribe on YouTube. And until next time, bye-bye.